Straight ahead on 12 News, local cities take their case against a controversial rail connection to the state legislature. Then, what's next for Robbinsdale's Terrace Theater?
It was like nothing that had been seen at the time that it was built.
One group is working to see if it can be saved. But first, what happened to Barway Collins?
He's not that type of child who can run away from home.
The exhaustive search for a 10-year-old Crystal boy. 12 News starts right now. And that search continues for 10-year-old Crystal boy who disappeared on Wednesday night.
Police say they don't think Barway Collins was abducted by a stranger, but his family disagrees. Reporter Sonia Goen spoke with his parents, and she joins us live at the Crystal Police Station. Sonia?
Now, Barway's parents told me they think a stranger took him. They're putting up these flyers in hopes that it'll help bring him home. They're asking anyone with any information to come forward. Meanwhile, they're calling on the police to put out an Amber Alert.
He's not that type of child who can run away from home.
Pierre and Yama Collins are worried beyond belief.
3 days. We are not seeing Barway. We don't know if he's eating. Barway used to eat his breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, snack before he go to bed.
Their oldest child, Barway, has been missing since Wednesday.
We have never ever done this before. This is first time. Never ever left the house with us, his parents knowing his whereabouts.
Barway was last seen at the entrance of the apartment building where he lives. Today, law enforcement officials searched the area, looking for clues.
They saw him entering, and then while opening the door, seemed that somebody caught his attention. Then when he looked back, he closed the door.
Police say they've got information that leads them to believe that he's with someone he knows. But his family says that's not the case.
There is no relative that would take him, that would not call us, or he's not notifying us that he's going to his relative.
His family want officials to put out an Amber Alert.
Barway was kidnapped. It should be an alert on Barway so everybody can make this effort to look for him.
Barway's parents say that he likes to play soccer and read books. They say he's also a good student and often helps the neighbors.
Barway is a nice boy, very good boy.
Everybody talk about
everybody in this compound know who Barway is.
Always help people.
He help people, older people live here. He help all of them.
The Collins are turning to a higher power to help bring Barway home.
We pray, we've been praying, people all around the nation praying for Barway to be back home soon.
Now, Barway is 5 feet tall, 80 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a black jacket, white t-shirt, black pants, and red shoes, and carrying a red backpack. If you have any information, call police. Live in Crystal, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
All right, thank you, Sonia. Minnetonka police are looking for help finding a missing woman who had just left Maple Grove Hospital. 29-year-old Justine Brandt hasn't been seen since March 1st. After leaving the hospital, she did not return home and has had no contact with her family. If you know of her whereabouts, you're asked to call Minnetonka police.
It's a full court press as local city officials testify at the state legislature against a proposed rail connection in Crystal. City council members from Crystal, Golden Valley, and Robbinsdale all voiced their safety concerns at a Senate committee hearing this week. In Crystal, officials say longer trains could block 5 crossings all at once, and 4 could be blocked in Robbinsdale, making it difficult for traffic and emergency responders. They say rail traffic will only get heavier.
Rail volume is going to nearly actually over double within the next 25 years. And so I think it's time for the state, along with our communities, to work together with the railroads to find a real plan. But this section is not going to solve the current problems that they have or the future problems.
We've heard from opponents that the cities in my communities, quite frankly, are being selfish, that they're unwilling to accept congestion in their area and want it somewhere else. And that is just simply not true.
The committee unanimously approved legislation calling for an environmental impact statement. Senator Ann Ress says that's needed to help find a workable alternative.
Community groups want history to be considered when deciding the future of 2 prominent local landmarks. The Save the Terrace Theater group met on Thursday night to talk about what's next for the Terrace Theater. When the Terrace was built in 1951, it was a glamorous 1,300-seat venue. The last movie played there in 1999, and now a local group wants to save it.
It's well-renowned nationally for its architectural stylings. It was like nothing that had been seen at the time that it was built, and it's an important piece of Robbinsdale history that we need to preserve.
The group is working with the Robbinsdale Historical Society and the Preservation Alliance of Minnesota to fund a study on the historical significance of the Terrace Theater. They hope to obtain the status and use it to help attract investors and developers. A group organized to save the Osseo Water Tower will get an update next week. The architectural historian who has been studying the significance of the 100-year-old water tower will present her findings to the City Council on Monday. The information will then go to the Minnesota Historical Society. If they agree with the findings, the tower may be eligible for listing on the National Register. There are few words Minnesotans enjoy hearing more than it's the first day of spring.
This winter wasn't nearly as cold or snowy or downright bitter as it was last year. But as Delane Cleveland reports, for businesses that are dependent on the weather, spring is a welcome occasion.
As any Minnesota resident knows, our winters tend to begin in early November. That's what makes the change in season a joyous occasion for anyone suffering from the winter blues.
I think we're going to have an early spring, which is awesome. So hopefully we're out boating here maybe as early as the end of the week.
At Rapid Marine in Rogers,
the rivers are starting to open. Fish are being caught down in southern Minnesota.
Employees are busy selling and servicing boats, a telltale sign that spring has indeed sprung.
How busy are we? The guys in the shop, I've got 3 techs on right now looking for possibly a 4th, needing a boat washer, that type of stuff because we are so busy.
Thriving times for a business dedicated to making boats float.
I mean, it's all happening. It's almost like a perfect storm right now.
Meanwhile, in Robbinsdale,
it's been a hard winter for all the outdoor power equipment people.
Paul King of Robbinsdale Marine says they're simply trying to keep the business afloat.
It can be frustrating. It's all really weather dependent.
For them, this has truly been a winter of discontent.
No snow in December, no snow in January, no snow in February, and once again, we got no snow here in March.
No snow means no snowblower repairs, which is what would usually keep them busy in the winter months.
Cut some hours back just to keep the lights on the doors open.
However, spring is a time for new beginnings.
They're starting to come in.
And in the service world, that means lawnmower repairs.
We're all geared up. We're ready for the change. We're ready for the grass to grow.
Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
We're all ready for a little spring this time of year.
I think so,
sure. Should we mention there's snow in the forecast?
No, we'll maybe just a little bit.
Coming up, making connections with veterans looking for work.
And later in sports, Maranatha Christian Academy's girls basketball team keeps rolling in the state semifinals.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast.
Welcome back. If you're an employer looking to hire veterans and disabled workers, how do you find people with the skills you need?
A local employers association is helping to make those connections. MRA, the Management Association, hosted a special recruitment seminar for area employers in Plymouth today. The goal is to help teach businesses how to connect with groups that find jobs for disabled people and military veterans.
We see veterans and people with disabilities as a largely untapped source of talent. And so today is all about making connections between employers and those organizations.
Fran Joquet says MRA is challenging businesses to make at least 2 connections with disability and veterans resource providers after today's seminar.
A group of military mothers says now is a good time to remember active duty troops still serving.
They do love their Girl Scout cookies. And everybody knows that now.
Girl Scout cookies might be the most highly anticipated item in the care packages the local chapter of the Blue Star Mothers is packing to send overseas for Easter. Christmas is the big push for donations for troops overseas, but this group says it's important to remember active duty service members year-round.
We just have to make sure that everybody realizes that we still have soldiers deployed and that we need to not forget about them and let them know that we are thinking about them. We do.
The items came from all over the Northwest Metro. The care packages will be shipped to troops in Afghanistan and a unit serving in Japan. Coming up, it's art you can wear. We'll take a look in Weekend Showcase.
And next in sports, hear from the Park Center girls basketball team as they get set to play for a state title. Jay Wilcox now with sports, and this has got to be one of the most exciting times of the year, smack in the middle of the state high school basketball tournament. You know, boys last weekend, girls this weekend.
And we have 3 girls teams in the finals. That's great.
Not a bad way to close out the season, right? I mean, fantastic for this area to have that much success. For the second straight season, Park Center's girls basketball team will play for a state championship. The Pirates will face off with Marshall, the same team they beat in 3 overtimes a year ago for the Class 3A title. The Pirates defeated Casson-Mantorville 47-37 Thursday. Park Center closed the game on a 15-5 run, with Michaela Hayes and Hannah Schaub each scoring 6 points during that stretch. The Pirates also got some valuable minutes and points from their bench, and the team effort has Park Center now gunning for another state title and another rematch with the Marshall Tigers.
It's going to be another hard game. Last year was probably the toughest game I've ever played, and the fact that we get another chance is just really exciting. I'm really excited to see how it goes.
Just knowing that we played them last year 3 overtimes is something that's in everybody's mind, I'm assuming. And they are a really great team. They're fast, they're scrappy, they're strong, and they have good guards, good posts. I feel like it's a really good matchup for us, so whatever happens, happens.
Their levels of defense is tremendous. They've got good ball pressure, then they have help side the right way. They rotate. It makes it really hard to score at all against them, and because that's the way they defend. And then what they run offensively is hard to guard. So we're going to have to figure a way to guard that. We're going to have to figure out a way to score. So good thing we have a day to prep.
Park Center and Marshall play at 6 p.m. Saturday night for the state Class 3A championship at Williams Arena. Well, the Hopkins girls basketball team has made it look easy the first 2 rounds of the state tournament. After routing Rochester Mayo in the quarterfinals, top seed Hopkins met up with Shakopee in the semifinal round. Ashley Bates drives to the hoop and scores, plus draws the foul as Hopkins takes a 10-5 lead. Nia Holly crosses it over and then hits a step-back 3-pointer from the corner. The Royals' lead grows to 13-7. TT Starks delivers a nice bounce pass to Holly for the fast break layup as the Royals try to pull away in this one. Bates steals the Sabres pass and she takes it all the way for a layup plus a foul. Hopkins is up 22-10. Holly feeds Starks posting up inside and she finishes strong for the hoop and the foul. Hopkins leads 37-23 at halftime. Second half, and it's ahead to Mariah Livingston for a layup and foul. It's 47-23 Royals. Bates gets the steal in the backcourt and feeds Holly for 2 as the Royals win 64-33. They meet Eastview for the title Saturday night. The team split 2 regular season meetings. In Class A, Maranatha Christian Academy was hoping to advance to the title game as they played their semifinal game against Minneapolis Friday afternoon. Elena Jarnot gets the steal here and layup as the Mustangs take an 8-7 lead. Jarnot has a strong game for MCA. Lexi Lee drives and pulls up to hit the shot. It's 18-14 Maranatha. Ashley Lewis drives it into the lane and her shot bounces and drops despite the foul. It's 28-23 in a high-scoring game. Jarnot gets another steal near half court here and goes all the way for 2 more in a 35-26 lead. Lee has great range. This step-back 3 helps the Mustangs to a 40-33 halftime advantage. Second half, Jarnot with a behind-the-back pass to Lee for 2 more. Maranatha holds off a late rally to win 76-69. They meet Ada Borup for the title Saturday at noon at Williams Arena. And a reminder to watch our Sports Jam show starting Monday as we recognize the best in the Northwest on our Sports Jam all-area teams. We'll feature girls and boys basketball and girls and boys hockey. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 on Channel 12. Kind of a nice way to wrap up that winter season, too.
Definitely. Great pool to choose from this year.
No question about that.
All right. Thanks, Jay. Still ahead, art made from silk, wool, and cotton.
It is historic tapestry, and we'll show you in just a minute.
Personally, I like the history. I like to think and touch and feel of a coin and think, hey, who might have had this 120 years ago or 200 years ago? I mean, who could have used this coin? And it could have been anybody. That's what does it for me.
There is a lot of history at the 81st Annual Northwest Money Show in Brooklyn Center this weekend. It's sponsored by the Northwest Coin Club of Minnesota and has more than 120 vendors from all over. The show runs Friday until 6, Saturday 10 to 6, and Sunday 10 to 3 at the Earl Brown Heritage Center in Brooklyn Center. Well, art comes in many forms. Some of it is even made for wearing.
In today's weekend showcase, some artsy threads are on display at the Maple Grove Arts Center. As Neil Pursley tells us, it may be just the thing to thread your needle.
There's now so many people who are hand knitting, weaving, felting, and now machine knitting.
Who knew? Caroline Munro is not only the curator for the works at the textile show at the Maple Grove Arts Center, she's also an exhibitor.
The things I do are machine knitted, and then I finish them with hand crochet. It's made of silk and wool and cotton, and this is all woven.
She exhibits both wearable textiles as well as an example of quilting.
We have a lot of beautiful quilts, lots of vibrant color.
Speaking of quilts, there are some amazing pieces.
This lady, she does all the machine quilting herself. If you tried to get someone to do it for you, it wouldn't happen. It would cost thousands because there's so much detail in it, and that's all done on a long arm quilter.
Batik is an ancient art of designing patterns on fabric by applying wax before the dyeing process to resist the dye on those areas of the fabric. This very colorful piece skillfully integrates batik fabric with acrylic on canvas.
He's used the batik fabric, and I've cut those pieces out. I think he stuck them down onto the canvas, and then he adds the acrylic afterwards.
Other examples of textile art forms which are thousands of years old are tapestry and wool felting.
And they just keep kneading it, and what happens is the fibers bond together, and that makes this fabric.
Caroline encourages young people to explore textiles as a hobby. If you're interested in learning more about any of the textile disciplines, someone at the Art Center can put you in touch with a mentor in that field. Neil Pursley, 12 News.
The show will be up through the end of the month for gallery hours. You can check the calendar on their website, maplegroveartscenter.org. I feel like I've been to art class.
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that impressive?
pretty cool. I don't know how they, well, he said how they do it, but I don't think I could do it.
Very cool, very intricate there.
Yeah, really neat stuff.
Neat thing to go out and see. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next, and have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you again Monday